Welcome to Talk to Connect, the podcast where we explore how to have transformative engagement to create stronger personal and professional relationships. I created this podcast because connection with others has become more difficult in this time of heavy social media, differing viewpoints, and increased anxiety in the world. I'm your host, Michelle Franklin, so let's talk to connect. Today's episode of A Teen's Voice on Parenting, Trust, and Fear, Unscripted, is part 2, as I'm having a Q&A and discussion with my teenage son, Will, to provide insights for current or future parents into the feelings, thoughts, and fears of today's teens and young adults. So today's episode is all about questions, but not the traditional questions like, what did you do today? Or how was school? Now, don't get me wrong, those are important, but those aren't the type of questions that build trust or connection with your kids or provides an understanding of their inner world. If we're truly wanting to spark honest conversations and raise emotionally intelligent people, we must be willing to engage our kids in difficult, awkward, and uncomfortable conversations, because you also don't want to raise them to shy away from discomfort. So it's important that you, their main influencer, models that for them. So what if we asked our kids questions that made them feel seen? Questions that say, I want to know you, not just manage you. That's what today's episode is about. So during our discussion, I suggest that maybe you take notes on the questions that you hear that you may want to ask your kids, even if they're grown. Because like I said in the last episode, it's never too late to explore ways to build connection with your kids. So here we go, part 2. Will, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. First question for you. What's something that you or other teens think a lot about?
I feel like we think a lot, or at least me, I feel like I think a lot about the future. So just things like, like where I'll be working, what college I'll go to if I go to college, like if, just different things, financial, whatever. Yeah, I just feel like the future is a big thing I've always thought about, even as a little kid. Um, so yeah.
Okay, so I heard you say in there, if you go to college.
Well,
Now, a lot of parents are probably like, what are you talking about if he goes to college? So can you kind of, I don't know, expand on this if I go to college a little bit more? Like what is that? And what conversations have you had with your parents about that?
if before my last year of high school, I just, like come up with a bunch of money and I won't need to, like if I already have, a financial plan and a good idea about my future before I graduate from my senior year of high school, then I feel like there might not be a point of college if I already know I'm gonna be financially safe.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, yeah, definitely as a parent, I would say you want to have that financial plan in place, right? Because I know we've talked a lot about keeping all your options on the table once you graduate. Because some people, kids, if you're not thinking about your future, then you're not going to have a lot of options once you graduate. So, okay, glad to hear that. And so, what would you tell parents that teens worry about?
Like family health or like just like family issues. But like outside of that, I feel like I don't worry about. But I can like feel like I feel like I could get stressed. So I feel like just simple things like school grades, whatever. I feel like that could stress me out sometimes. But I don't really think I worry about a lot.
Okay, do you feel like I listen to you well, or when is it the easiest for you to talk to me?
Um, yeah, I feel like you listen well. Just like whenever I just have something to talk about, then you listen, and then after I'm done, then you give your feedback on it. So I feel like that's really helpful. And I feel like it's probably the easiest to talk to you. If it's something you want to talk about, then it's gonna be easier to talk about it. Yeah, if I just have something on my like basketball or whatever, something happened at school, then
Mhm.
I'll just, like talk about it because want to. But yeah.
Okay, and so when is it the hardest for you to talk to me? And be honest.
feel like this is something I don't want to talk about. Like, I don't know, it could be like awkward, like, well, I feel like this is more like when I was smaller, but like, about like girls and stuff, because now it's like whatever. But yeah, I just feel like whenever I don't really want to talk about something, but I know like I'm gonna have to tell you. Yeah.
Okay. And is there anything you need from me that I haven't given you yet? And we're not saying car because that's not the kind of thing we're talking about.
I mean, not really, besides, like my phone and stuff and, my screen time. But I mean, I'll just be like, since that's because I feel like a lot of parents don't put that stuff on their kids because they don't think about that originally. But I feel like if they did, then a lot more kids would be like, like me. And I feel like since you did, like do that originally when I first got the phone, then it's just gonna take a while for me to have nothing on it since there was always something on my phone. Like,
Yeah, I
yeah.
understand. So what would you say that I could do better? And, and it might be in relation to your phone. I don't know. But anything, what would you say that I can do better?
Honestly, there's not. I feel like there's not a lot because I feel like you do like already a good job, great job. But I'd say probably just work less.
That I could work less?
Yeah, because I feel like yeah, I feel like you should work a little less. 'Cause I feel like you go to sleep late a lot, and I feel like you just work more than necessary sometimes.
So is that like, oh, wow. So is that like on your mind? Are you concerned about that?
I mean, not really concerned, but I just feel like it's better for you if you work less because it don't really got nothing to do with me or like, I just feel like it's just better for you if you didn't work so much.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Yeah. Might need to take you up on that. Um, and if you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
Probably like just poverty because like even growing up, like I always like didn't like seeing like homeless people and a bunch of like tents and stuff on the ground. So I feel like we everybody like in the world could do a better job with poverty and just making sure like a lot less people are because I feel like there's no reason for the amount of people to be homeless as there is.
Yeah.
Um, so I just feel like we could do a lot better job at just giving better lives to people who don't have them right now.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I'm curious if so for the audience, Will and I often go through our church to the park to feed the homeless. And I'm curious if you had that thought or concern about the world before we actually started doing that, before you actually experienced up close and personal homeless people when we would feed them, or if it's something that started on your mind after we started doing that.
I feel like it's been before. Like I feel like even as a little kid, I always just like since I was like 7, 8, I never like just seeing like homeless people. So I feel like I've always kind of thought like this, like even before we started like doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's something you're curious to learn more about?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to like when I'm older, I don't know like how much older, but like I want to like start buying properties, like buy a property or something because I heard like that's like a good way just for like another source of income. So I just want to learn more about like properties and stuff and like buying stuff and like financial decisions.
And what helps you feel safe when you're upset or stressed?
I kind of just think like, my situation could always be worse. Because there's a lot more people out there going through a lot more worse than what I like could be going through like in the moment. Yeah. Can I like share an example?
Okay.
All right, then. Yeah. So yesterday I just seen like a video, it was a TikTok video, and it was this dude talking. Um, and he was talking about how he had like I think it was like either cancer, I think, or a tumor, or something. He had to like go get treatment and get removed or whatever, or yeah. So like he was like going to chemotherapy. He didn't like it, and then like after the 3 months of chemotherapy, then his insurance had like stopped. Like because I don't know how all that stuff works. Like that's like adult stuff. I'm not there yet. But something happened with his insurance, and then so he couldn't like use that no more, whatever. So then he had to change insurance, and he also had to change a different hospital. So like that process was going on for a month. So then after he got to the new hospital, they found out he had a tumor in his like stomach or like abdomen, I think. And it's just been sitting there. And then they said, and then he went through chemo for that, but they like after he was done with his chemo, they said that the chemo like didn't help it at all. So he just went through chemo again for no reason. Um, and then yeah, um, and they're talking about how they can't do surgery to remove the tumor because it's too risky. So it's like I just thought about it. I'm like, so what is he supposed to do? He's just supposed to wait until like what happens? Like I don't, it's not gonna go away. Like I don't think that's how it works. So it's like, but yeah, I feel that just 'cause, like my situation could be a lot worse. So I just gotta learn to just appreciate what I have in the moment.
Well, that is a good outlook to have, and I know I do that too, like, if something is going on, I think about, well, there are other people in the world who are definitely going through a lot worse, right? But that still doesn't keep us from getting stressed or getting upset. So, that's great that you use that to move through it. Is there anything else or any other tips, that you could share with parents to help their teens to tell their teens things they can do when they get upset or stressed?
I mean, nothing that I can really think of other than like like take a break or go like talk about like what's happening, or like go ask for help. Because you can, if you're feeling stressed, whatever, you can always go talk to, or yeah, just talk to somebody, like talk to your mom, dad, family, whatever. I just feel like if you, have someone to talk to when you're stressed, then they can help you get through that stressful time.
Yep, definitely, absolutely. That's good advice, even for adults. We all need someone to talk to. And so, speaking of having someone to talk to, I'm curious if you feel like you can be honest with me, even when it's a hard conversation or an awkward conversation.
Um, I mean, yeah, I feel like I could definitely be honest with you because, I mean, yeah, there's really no reason not to. Like, that's just how I think about life. There's no reason to not be honest about something we're already talking about. Because if we're already talking about it, I might as well just tell you all the details. So, yeah, I just don't feel like there's a point of not being honest if we're talking about something already.
Okay. And what's one thing that you wish people understood about you?
I mean, I just feel like people should know that I'm not like that social. Like, like unless I'm with my friends or whatever, like I'm not trying to talk to you like all the time, like if I don't know you, you know? So I just feel like people should know I'm not that social, so they shouldn't expect me to do the most when it comes to having like, a new friendship or relationship or whatever. Um, yeah, I just feel like people should know that I'm not that social.
Okay. And so recently, I know you and I were having a conversation about that because I shared with you that, and it's called introvert, meaning you're kind of just to yourself, and that I'm the same way. And it's important to go through life being what's called an extrovert, meaning you can be more social and talk to people because you really want to have a balance. So even though you know that about yourself, I'm curious if you feel like you can be an extrovert or you can be social or you can speak up and say things when in situations where you need to. In any
Um,
situation, like with teachers or the principal or on your basketball team, like do you speak up?
yeah, I feel like I definitely. So yeah, I feel like that's yeah. But I feel like I definitely would speak up if I felt some type of way about something.
Okay. Well, thank you, son, so much for your honesty in these two episodes. I know many parents have benefited by hearing from you. So, parents, you don't need to ask all of these questions at once. I would suggest picking one or two at a time to maybe ask during a car ride or a walk or while you're making dinner. And when you ask, just breathe, let silence do its work. And when your child answers, you want to really listen like it's the most important story you've ever heard, because it is. It's your child sharing their world with you. And that's truly fascinating. Connection isn't built in big parental speeches. It's built in small moments, in the questions we ask and the space we create for answers. Thank you for listening to Talk to Connect. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to follow or subscribe to my podcast and share it with others. A new episode will drop every other Tuesday. And if you have a question you'd like me to answer on a future episode, email me at michelle@letstalktoconnect.com. That's Michelle, spelled Michell. That's 2 L's, no E on the end, at letstalktoconnect.com. So let's continue talking to connect and create transformation in our personal and professional relationships.